I'm here with my friend Sue Pope, who has a life story experience about grief, loss, and mourning, I guess, to explain. And I'll let her introduce herself and tell a little bit about herself.
Hi, my name is Susan Pope. I am 50 years old. I'm the mother of 3 children, 14, 16, and 18. I'm married to a wonderful man named Randy. We've been married for 20 years. I am a stage 4 breast cancer survivor. I was diagnosed with breast cancer in 2001. My children were 2, 4, and 6 years old. The cancer spread, and I continued to fight the cancer for several years. During that time, my father also was fighting cancer, and he did pass away. I had to go to his funeral wearing a wig. At that time, life was very difficult. You know, I had to help my mother deal with the loss of her husband, my family, the loss of their grandfather, my father. But we handled all that. We fight grief, loss with a lot of faith, a sense of humor, and a lot of help from my friends. I'm going to fast forward a little bit to the last 2 years. We had moved into the house of our dreams, and my husband, who had an excellent job, was laid off. He could not find a job for 2 years. The loss of his job changed our family in many ways. We had to completely rethink the way we did anything, shopping, eating, entertainment. But we did that, again, with faith, sense of humor, and a lot of help from our friends. Then the next year, I was re-diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer. My cancer had spread to my thoracic cavity. I was then in chemotherapy every week for 7 months. The chemo was strong, but I continued to work. It did affect the family. When one of you gets cancer, the whole family gets cancer. Everybody's affected. Sometimes I think it's harder for the people caring for you than it is for yourself, because I know how I felt. I knew that today was a good day and I felt okay, but for my husband and my parents and the children, they didn't know that I was feeling okay. But they also changed because I became a different person. And when you're going through something like cancer, people often say, well, you have to find your new normal. Your new normal isn't always better. It's not worse, but it's definitely not better, because I lost my energy and my focus as a mother. I lost a lot of that. I wasn't always there for them when I should have been. But had great help through that. Then my son was diagnosed with a mental illness. It's called OCD pandas. He was 14 years old and refused to go to school. And the reason was that was from a strep infection. Now the whole family was in counseling, and we all had to learn how to help him. He lost himself. He became a different kid overnight. But we went through all of this. We kept our sense of humor. We still managed to make every day, find the happy in every day. But my most recent loss, which isn't of a person, was we had to move out of the house of our dreams. And moving out of that house tipped me over the edge. I was able to fight cancer and the job loss and my son's illness, but this moving into a house that needed work that I wasn't ready for, it was not only the loss of the physical house, it really was the loss of a dream. And I'm still struggling with that. As a matter of fact, it sent me into a depression, which I'm still in. I'm not in a bad mood. I've lost myself, really. When I get up in the morning, I used to get up with a great attitude, ready to take on the day. Now I get up and I kind of sit in a corner. I've learned that's called camping. So I have to try not to camp. I have to try to be part of life, but it's very difficult because I guess after so much loss, people can only take so much. And this, I'm shocked to learn, the changing of a house is what tipped my scale.
Yeah, you experience so much loss over the years, and then all of a sudden just one thing that somebody wouldn't necessarily think was so great was like the tip of the iceberg, and it was like, oh gosh, everything else came crashing down. So physically, you were going through chemo still. You're going through emotional
Yes,
things.
I am still in chemo every
Yes,
3 weeks
every 3 weeks now.
for the rest of my life, indefinitely.
Right, exactly. And did we bring this up, what happened with your mother recently?
My mother, just recently on September 12th, was diagnosed with lung cancer. My mother's my best friend. I talk to her every day, twice a day. Since the death of my father, I put myself in as her confidant. So I call her every day so that she has someone to tell her day to. She called me and told me that the doctor wanted her daughter to come with her to an appointment, and she does have lung cancer. So now she's going to have to go through chemo and radiation and surgery. She's had many tests, x-ray, ultrasound, CAT scan, PET scan. She had a bronchoscopy, which caused a pneumothorax, which is air around the lung. She ended up in the hospital for 3 days. And my mother is 74 years old, but she is a very healthy 74-year-old until this. My family, my brothers and sisters, all came together. We're very cohesive. We take turns caring for my mother, which it's kind of interesting. She's the mother. She's to care for us, and our roles are reversed because now I feel like I am the mother. But it's very hard because I physically feel more fragile than I ever have because of the recent loss of our home. But she's very brave, and we're using faith, sense of humor, and she has a lot of friends that are helping her as well. But we're just going to begin this path. As a matter of fact, this weekend we went to find her a wig because her hair is going to fall out.
Right, and you experienced that already because you've had to purchase a wig and deal with hair loss.
Yes.
Which is another loss.
Yes.
You know. So
and it's not as bad as you think.
Really?
But it's very cold. When you don't have hair, it's very cold.
I like that.
And earrings and necklaces become very important.
Or do they? Okay, how did all of these changes throughout the past, 10 years, I guess, affect your life as a person, as a woman?
I am a different person because of cancer.
Okay.
I think I'm a better person. And I know there are a lot of people that have had cancer that would say, I wouldn't give it back. I learned how much I was loved. I felt it. I lived it. I was always a helper to others. I would prefer to help you than to be helped.
Right.
And it was very hard to accept help from people at first. Some people don't like to get gifts.
Right.
But people don't know what to do, and people are basically very good. So I really did lose who I was then. I'm a different mother now. I'm not as hands-on as I once was. But we've all adapted to my new way.
Okay.
And because I've changed, the whole family has changed.
Right. The whole family dynamic has changed
Completely.
as well. And as a woman, it's so okay. How has this experience affected your perspective on death, dying, loss, mourning, surviving?
I understand it a lot more, and because I face the possibility of cancer coming back full-blown every single day, I'm not as afraid of it as I was. I get that you're here for a reason. You know, there's that thing, a season, a reason, a lifetime. There's a reason I'm here. The Lord isn't done with me yet. And I continue to take one day at a time. You know, try to face every day with a good attitude.
And you do. With a big smile. which is wonderful. Okay, I think that's about it. I mean, thank you so much for your conversation, your experience, your life stories. I appreciate it so much.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.